Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Could you ask for a better matchup in the AFC title game? The Steelers swept their division rival this season, but only 7 points separated these two. Pittsburgh rallying from a 10-point deficit to win 23-20 in overtime in a Monday nighter in week number 4. Then the Steelers got a controversial touchdown in the closing minute to nip the Ravens in the week 15 rematch 13-9 as a 3-point road underdog. Now over in the NFC, who would have imagined Arizona, the Arizona Cardinals, guys, being in the playoffs, let alone hosting a title game? Now clearly Philadelphia deserves its status as a favorite after consecutive road wins and covers against the Vikings and Giants to open the postseason. But keep this in mind. Donovan McNabb is 1-4 straight up in conference title games and Super Bowl appearances during his career. Now, as for the Cardinals, they got whipped at Philadelphia on Thanksgiving night 48-20 as a 3-point road dog. But this is a confident team coming off playoff wins against the Falcons at home and the Panthers as a 10-point road underdog that has a Super Bowl winning quarterback at their helm in Kurt Warner. Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, lead handicapper and general manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping conglomerate. My best bet on today's card is going to be my one and only playoff game of the year, a play I've won 8 of the past 9 seasons, and it's on Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I entered the weekend 12-3-1 with my NFL best bets over the past 7 weeks. More, though, about the Ravens and the Steelers in just a moment. First, let's review how the season has been going from a betting perspective in Vegas. Well, there you can see the season-to-date recap. That is regular season and postseason. The underdogs, after cashing the winning ticket 3 out of 4 in divisional play last weekend, once again maintaining that nice edge they have had from week number 1 of the year, and 87 of those 133 dogs won outright. And of course, as I always tell you, if you like the dog, especially here in the playoffs, you got to take a smaller wager on the money line, guys, because you're only going to increase your profit potential. Now, let's take a look at some conference trends and stats. You know, the AFL and the NFL merged starting with the 1970 season. So going back to 1970, home teams, there you see it, 50-26 straight up, a 10-game advantage versus the odds makers. But this is the most important thing to take from that. Of that stretch, 58 of those teams won by 7 or more points. 38 of them won by 14 or more points. Now, let's look at a couple of conference ATS trends. Home dogs, 1-3 straight up and against the spread the last 20 years. In fact, the only one that I can find that actually won the game, that would have been the New York Giants. Remember a few years back as a 3-point dog beating up Minnesota? I think the final score in that one was like 41-0. Now, road teams, 4 games against the spread over 500 since 1990. And here's a couple of conference total tips, as I call them, for those of you interested in playing one of the over-unders this weekend. You can see here what has happened in the AFC and NFC conference title games over the past 7 years. The over has been the dominant play, including 5 of the last 6 over the past 3 seasons. Then there's a couple of individual trends. Look at what the Steelers have done. Their offense comes to life in the postseason, and look at what the Steelers have done versus the AFC. Meanwhile, the Cardinals, nice little overrun themselves, 12 of their last 18, including 4 of their last 5. And one more playoff trend for you guys. Entering the weekend, road teams 35-23 against the spread since 2003. Once again, last week, 3 of those 4 road doggies getting the job done. Now, for today's free pick, let's break down the Arizona-Philadelphia game. The Eagles, very nice run. You know, ever since Donovan McNabb got benched at halftime of that blowout loss at Baltimore, Philly has gone on a 6-1 straight-up and ATS run, outscoring their opponents in that stretch 196-85. McNabb has really ignited the offense, 12 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions in that stretch. Philadelphia already won at Minnesota, already won against the Giants in New York, 6-1. Against the spread in their last 7 road playoff outings. And of course, Philadelphia also beat the heck out of the Cardinals on Thanksgiving night, laying 3 points at home, as I mentioned earlier, 48-20, improving Andy Reid's record against the Cardinals to 7-2 against the spread. But let's look at the Cardinals here. Arizona, great home play, 11-6 ATS run at home since Ken Whisenhunt took over, and Atlanta, coming off the home, or excuse me, Arizona coming off the home win against Atlanta in the first round, in the wild card round. Then last week as the 10-point dog, forcing all the turnovers against Carolina and beating up the Panthers in Charlotte. Kurt Warner, strong regular season, over 4,500 yards passing and 30 touchdowns. It's continued in the postseason. 491 yards passing and 4 TDs in 2 games. And remember, last week, Warner got the job done because Larry Fitzgerald had a monster game because Anquan Bolden did not play because of a hamstring injury. He is expected to be back for today's game. Now, Philadelphia definitely has a huge defensive edge for the season, but Cardinals are playing with confidence, and they're playing at home, and they have played exceptionally well so far in the postseason defensively. Keep this in mind. Brian Westbrook, maybe he has a knee injury that is worse than everybody has let on. He says he's tweaked the knee injury that has bothered him all season. All I know is this. In Westbrook's last 5 games, he's averaged 2.8 yards per carry and only 53 yards or less in that 5-game stretch. Meanwhile, Arizona's rushing defense in the wild card win against Atlanta, they held Michael Turner to 42 yards on 18 carries. Then against Carolina last week on the road, against Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, they held that duo to 75 total yards on 15 carries. And this is perhaps one of the most surprising stats I uncovered when handicapping this game. Do you know who has the #1 defense in the NFC when it comes to takeaways? It's not the Giants. It's not the Eagles. It wasn't the Cowboys. It is the Arizona Cardinals, guys. 39 takeaways this season, 3 less than Baltimore, as the Ravens lead the NFL in that department. I can't tell you I'm enamored with this game, but if you want my opinion, I say the way to go is to grab the points with Arizona. I would wait till almost game time to place my bet on this one because I think the public money is going to continue to roll in on Philadelphia because for weeks now, everybody has ordained Philadelphia as being this year's New York Giants, the team that's going to roll through the Super Bowl, via the road route. So I think that you're going to get an extra half point, maybe even a point, the closer as you get to kickoff. So go with Arizona. And one more thing I just want to point out. Don't be alarmed by what happened when Arizona played at Philadelphia on that Thanksgiving night. Remember this. The Eagles were coming off the blowout loss at Baltimore. It was a must-win game for Philadelphia that night. Arizona was at a huge disadvantage. Already had clinched their division title. They were on the road after playing on Sunday, traveled across the country, playing on a holiday, 3 days preparation. Very difficult spot for any road team, but especially for the Cardinals in that one. That's why I kind of discount the 48-20 win by Philadelphia in that first game. So I'm backing the Cardinals as my free pick, but as I always tell you, the free picks are kind of like the best of the worst. I'm not personally playing them. I'm not recommending you play them as well. My best bet on today's card is going to be my one and only playoff game of the year between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, a play I've won 8 of the past 9 years. I enter the weekend 12-3-1 with my NFL best bets over the past 7 weeks. The NFL run, 25-11 overall, 249 dimes of profit. As I noted earlier, the Steelers swept the season series by a total of 7 points. 7 points is all that separated these two teams. Can the Steelers complete a 3-0 same-season sweep? Well, here's a little tidbit for you. This is the 20th time since 1980 a team such as the Ravens finds itself in a double revenge same-season situation. Now, the loser of the first 2 games has gone 8-11 straight up, but 10-8-1 against the spread in the third go-round in those previous 19 outings since 1980. Does the trend continue today with Baltimore being the play plus the points, or does Ben Roethlisberger earn his 7th straight playoff cover while the Steelers improved to 8-0 straight up and 7-1 ATS versus division rivals in the postseason since 1978? The answers are yours with my 11th straight, that's right, 11th straight NFL 15-dime winner, available exclusively online. And I'll catch you again next weekend as I'll have my 7th straight Super Bowl winner ready for you.